My name is Becca.
And my name's Stacy.
And this is
Topic Toss.
This week's episode is being hosted by moi yet again. I have Stacy here with me. Hi, say hi.
Hello.
So I am still very much in the spooky vibes because it's starting to get cool and crisp in the air. I'm
Finally
not ready to give up spooky season, even though technically today while we're recording is November 1st. So I said, forget it. I'm doing it anyways. So today's topic is going to be no sleep. If you don't know what no sleep is on Reddit, it is a entire Reddit page just based on scary stories. I will point out they are all fake. We know that. We are going into this knowing that they're just scary stories. So I want you guys to be made aware of that. But because we know that they're fake, we decided that we're just going to go through and do a dissection on them basically as if they were real. If this happened to us, what would we do in this situation? How would we feel? Is this a personal fear of ours type stuff?
Yes.
So are you ready, Stacy?
I'm ready.
I feel like we should turn the lights off for this. Getting right into our first story, we have, my entire family is doing their chores without me asking, and I'm freaking out. My husband was first. When I came home from work, I found my husband in the kitchen. When I came home from work, I found my husband in the kitchen, dish rag in hand, wiping down the counters. "Hi, babe," he said, giving me a kiss. Then he went right back to wiping. Look, I love my family. They're wonderful, but 99% of the time when I get home from work, the kids are on the TV and my husband is on his iPad. "Thanks for cleaning," I said uneasily. And then that little thought wormed its way into my head. He's cleaning because he expects something in return. That was fine by me. I was tired, but I will happily trade what he wants for a clean kitchen. But things got weirder when I walked into the living room. My two kids weren't parked in front of the TV watching YouTube videos of toys being unboxed and cars crashing violently. Layla was putting her stuffies in a toy bin, and Ben was doing his homework. I stood there in shock staring at them. "Hi, Mommy," Layla said with a big smile. "Did you have a good day?" No. My daughter, who's usually using the sofa as a jungle gym and scribbling on the walls, she's asking me if I had a good day? It was fine. Why is it so clean in here? Did Daddy take you to the park today?" She shook her head. "We've been drawing and stuff." She reached over to the pile of papers and pulled out a drawing. It depicted a crude stick figure of me holding her hand. "I drew this for you, Mommy." I grabbed the drawing. It said, "I love you, Mommy," with a big smiley face across the top. "Thanks. That's very sweet of you, Layla." Things only got weirder from there. Dinner time is always a fight. My kids are picky as hell, and someone always spits out their food at some point. But Layla and Ben ate their dinner like two normal kids, without complaint. And then after, my husband started doing the dishes, without being asked. Cue Twilight Zone music. This was getting too weird. Had they joined a cult, watching some YouTube videos about kindness and discipline? Was it another fake social media holiday like Daughter's Day or Son's Day, but honoring mothers? Or was it just a good day? Occasionally my kids were very well behaved. It was just the confluence of their behavior and my husband's that was super strange. Around 7 p.m., my husband offered to watch the kids while I took a shower, but when I got out, I heard them talking in the family room in low, hushed voices. I didn't even know my kids could talk at that volume. I started for them, but I stopped in my tracks when I heard them say my name. My name. Layla called me Kate, not Mommy. My blood turned to ice. I stood there frozen just beyond the doorway. "I gave Kate the drawing," Layla said, with vocabulary and diction that seemed far too mature for a 7-year-old. She seemed to like it. "I did all my homework and cleaned the bathroom," Ben added. "It's spotless in there." "Okay, good job, both of you. We need to keep this up, okay? This is what husbands and children do." With that, I heard footsteps coming my way. Heart hammering in my chest, I darted back for the stairs. As they came around the corner, I pretended I had just come down. "You guys doing okay?" I asked, though my voice shook. What the hell is going on here, I thought. Layla ran up to me and grabbed my hand. My heart dropped at her ice-cold touch. "I want a bedtime story, Mommy," she sing-songed, her voice a completely different intonation than before. "I want a bedtime story too," said Ben. I glanced at my husband, and he shot me a warm smile. Can you put them to bed tonight? I'm not feeling great." "Sure, honey." I listened to their footsteps pounding up the stairs, and then I got the hell out of there. I ran out to my car and sat there for a moment, my entire body shaking. Where are my babies? Suddenly, my heart ached for Layla's tantrums, for Ben's ear-splitting shrieks as he played Minecraft, for the messes and spills and chaos. Tears running down my face, I started the car and began to back out of the driveway. Beep, beep, beep. The rear collision alert. I stomped on the brakes and glanced in the rearview mirror. No. My husband, Layla, and Ben were standing there motionless in the dark, blocking my way out. They were no longer smiling. Their faces were set in stone as they stared me down, scowling at me in the mirror. And their eyes, oh God, their eyes. They were pure black. Instinct shut in. I flipped the car in drive and pulled over the grass, and then I peeled out of the neighborhood. It's been an hour now. I called the police, but they don't believe me. I don't know what to do next. My family isn't acting like my family. I'm terrified, and more than anything, I miss my babies and my husband, the good and the bad. What should I do?
That's really good.
Yeah.
The writer. We went from bad grammar last week to some good writing.
Yeah.
Whoa. This kind of reminds me, what's that movie called? I haven't watched it, but the movie Us.
I've heard great things.
Yeah, I've heard great things.
And now that you said it, like, it sounds like the things that I've heard.
It sounds like a similar premise of, like, it's people you know, but it's not actually the people you know.
Yeah. It's like, what happened to this person? This isn't them. Like,
yeah.
Type thing.
But wow.
Imagine you coming home and you're like, okay, my family's acting weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you hear your child go, I gave Stacy the photo.
Like, who?
Who am I?
Gave who what?
Like, imagine you hearing one of my children call me Rebecca.
Right. Like, ew.
Rebecca? That is mommy, and that is all.
Right. Like, excuse you.
Or any other iteration.
Yeah.
Mommy, mom, mother, mama, whatever.
Yeah.
I am not Rebecca to you, and I will never be Rebecca to you.
Right. Who are you talking to? Oh, my God.
And imagine, like, looking in the rearview mirror, and they just, like, black eyes just standing there.
Ooh.
Like, how'd you even do that? Because you were upstairs.
Right. How'd we get here so fast?
Terrifying.
What are we doing?
Yeah, ew. Imagine, like I said, just imagine coming home and your family's just, like, not your family.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird.
I would have done exactly what she'd done. I'm
getting
out of here. I don't care if I have to drive through this tree. I gotta go.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
So I hope you guys enjoy our first song for the day. All right, this next one, if I do say so myself, is pretty good. Like, I was reading it, and I did not want to stop reading it.
I'm excited.
And it's also pretty long, so strap in.
Okay.
My friend texts me every day to come open his doors for him, and it's driving me crazy. How do I help him get over his weird hang-up? It's the weirdest thing, and I mean, it's gotten to the point it affects his everyday functioning. It's stopped being quirky and become like a debilitating mental health issue, you know? It all started a couple weeks ago. My friend Tim let it drop in conversation one day that he thinks he's got a stalker. And of course I'm like, what? Stalker? And he says, yeah, there's this figure I keep seeing kind of far away and like out of the corner of my eye usually. It followed me here. He's deaf, by the way, so he's signing this to me. That's why I typed it as figure. In sign language, you don't really use pronouns. He uses the sign that means someone or something and uses 2 fingers to indicate that someone's eyes are staring at him, staring from a distance. We're in a coffee shop and I ask him to point out the figure. So he goes outside and looks around and points to the intersection a block down. It being the city during the morning rush, there are people walking all over. And I'm like, oh, the lady in the red hat? The dude in the Packers jacket? He keeps shaking his head, no. But he's got his eye on something or someone. He tells me to forget it and we go back inside. He doesn't mention it again. And when I ask at the end of our meetup if I should be concerned, he waves me off and says, all casual, nah, it's good. Like he's embarrassed that he brought it up. Then a few days later, he video calls me asking to meet up again, like right now. Can I meet him for dinner? And I've already got plans, but he looks so strung out that I say sure. We meet at a small diner, and he's barely sat down at the table across from me when he says signing very low so no one can see, even though chances are that babbling people around us don't even know sign language. Look, see the woman outside the window. I looked, searching the street outside. There's only the ordinary pedestrian traffic at the late afternoon. I look back at Tim and shrug. His eyes dart to the window, and he describes the woman he sees. Brunette, 30s or 40s, gray sweatshirt and pants. Okay, I look again. Well, there's a woman, curly brown hair with her kid. No, no, no. He shakes his head, sighs, and runs his fingers through his hair, then turns and stares. Keeps staring. I lean over to follow his gaze to the window. There's no one there. Hey, I sign. Are you sure you're feeling okay? I've been seeing her every day for 2 weeks, he interrupts, signing quickly now. She starts far away, but each day she's gotten closer. He moves his hands closer and closer together, and then I'm worried about what happens when his hands touch. Who is she? Have you tried, approaching her? Is she like someone you know? All I can think is that it must be a relative, like maybe he's hallucinating someone important to him. Tim has a history of depression and has struggled with some form of mental illness throughout his life, and spent most of his youth navigating stuff alone or holding it in, because his family is hearing and never bothered to learn sign language. It strikes me to wonder if the woman has ever signed to him, but when I ask if she's hearing or deaf, he shakes his head, I don't know, and tells me he's never met her. Well, not really. But he knows who she is. I snort. It seems like he's being purposefully obscure. He claims he knows her, but has never met her. I ask him again who she is. He gets more agitated, rubbing his arms and looking over his shoulder. Oh, he says, she's moving. Where? I ask. The door. There's no one at the door. Clearly no one, but he keeps sneaking glances. Looks at me and smiles, and gives me the two-fingered motion again of eyes staring and watching him. I ask him if he wants to leave, and he says no. She'll just show up wherever he goes. I push my chair out and go to the door. He's watching me with a strange mixture of horror and fascination. I push open the door and step outside to come back in and sit down with him. I reiterate to him that there's no one there. He rubs his palms into his eyes and finally says, okay. I ask him again how he knows her. This past summer, Tim tells me, he and his friends were camping. Old friends he hasn't seen since he was younger. One of them knew of a hiking trail and some scenic views, remote enough to be less traveled than the more famous peaks. There's a cabin along the trail, rustic but well built. A log cabin like in a picture of a postcard. The outhouse has a little window in the door and similar log construction. Everyone goes into the cabin, but Tim comes back out to use the outhouse. The stench is bad even from a distance. Tim holds his breath, wondering if he should go into the woods instead, but he braves the reek and opens the door, and a cloud of flies bursts out, swirling around him in a storm of black wings. The moment that the stench hits him like a wave, making his eyes water and his stomach buck as he stumbles away from the outhouse and hurls. When he looks inside, there's a woman sitting on the toilet bench. She's curled into the corner. Gray sweatpants, gray sweatshirt. Brown hair draping around her. What little he can see of her face, her skin, is bloated and splotchy. He gets only a glimpse, and then he rushes to the cabin screaming, bursts in, hands flying, call police, police now, woman dead in bathroom, call police, now. And his friends look up from scouring through a backpack that they found, with a wallet and phone and uneaten moldy lunch, and it so clearly belongs to the corpse in the outhouse. It's definitely the same woman? I asked him. He nodded. The police came and took away her body, he says. They found no evidence of foul play, and he and his friends were allowed to leave after questioning. He shows me her obituary. She was apparently cremated, and her funeral was a few weeks ago. But it's definitely her, he says. Okay, I think for a minute. Well, you had a really traumatic incident. I mean, that had to be traumatic, finding a dead body, so maybe you're just seeing it because of flashbacks from the trauma? You haven't asked me how she died. Oh, well, how did she die? He tells me she died of hydration when after a few days, the heat and lack of water killed her, but she could have come out at any time. There was nothing stopping her, no lock on the door, no marks or signs of violence, no animal tracks outside, nothing. Why would she choose to stay and die? Why? He's obviously been torturing himself over this question. It's strange, I agreed. But I'm much more concerned for Tim's mental health than I am for this woman who decided to end her life in the woods. Tim's obsession with her, his trauma from finding her after her death, has done a number on his already delicate mental state. Do you think your obsession with figuring out why she died might be fueling these visions? I asked him. I mean, regardless if you're seeing her because of trauma or because of some hallucination, it's not like you can change what happened. I think you should see a psychiatrist. See if you can get some kind of meds to kill the hallucination. He chuckles humorously. Kill a hallucination who's already dead. But he agrees to see a psychiatrist. He seems to be feeling a little restored when he gets up to leave. At the door, though, he pauses, his face twisting in anxiety. He waits, letting me go first to open it, and motions me to hold it wide for him. Only then does he step through. 3 days later, I get a message from Tim. He's quote-unquote stuck, and begs me to come to his place. When I arrive, his door is ajar, but it feels rude to walk in, so I press the doorbell and watch the lights flash. My phone buzzes. Come on in. Tim greets me the moment I step inside, like he was right there waiting. He's got his bag in hand, telling me he's late. He's going to be in so much trouble at work. Would I please come with him downstairs, and he'll explain later. He ushers me down the staircase, and at the front door of the building, stops immediately so that I almost bang into him, and he motions me to get the door, even though it's partially open, and he could easily push it. I fling it wide, and he dashes out, signing, "Thank you, sorry, I'll explain after work." That evening, he asked me to let him back into his apartment, and after I let him in, the door is not even locked. The building's front door was ajar. He leads me up to his unit and inspects the door. It's closed. His posture visibly relaxes, and he unlocks it and invites me in for a beer. Then he admits to me sheepishly that he had a rough few days. Actually called in sick a couple times, because she's always at the door. Who? I ask, and then at his withering look, "Oh, but we just came through the door." "Yeah, open doors are fine, closed doors are fine, but she..." "Didn't you notice the building door was ajar?" He shows the partially open door with his hands, a slight gap between them, and then grips one hand that represents the door with the other. Her fingers were holding it. I don't know what to say to this. It seems a whole new level of delusion. Tim hands me a beer from the fridge, explaining that she always is at the door now, but he only sees her fingers and sometimes her eyes. So what happens if you open the door, I wonder? He just takes a swig of his beer morosely, and then his gaze goes distant. He focuses on something behind me. I turn around. The bedroom door is ajar. I swing back and look at him. Is she there? The bedroom? Do you see her fingers? His eyes meet mine. His face is flat. Deaf people are usually very expressive. Half of the grammar is in the face, not the hands. But lately he's been almost a robot. And then finally he makes that gesture, 2 fingers pointing at himself, staring and staring. Then he signs, FML. I stand, go to the ajar door, and Tim pales, eyes rounding, but he says nothing. He takes another sip of his beer and watches me. I push the door, reach up, and run my hand along the length of the ajar edge, pushing it open further, swinging it back and forth. I look at him and raise my eyebrows, like, see, it's nothing. Nothing's there. He grunts and his eyelids flutter. I don't think he's been sleeping enough. Hey, do you need someone to stay with you? No, he waves me off. Just go home. So I do. But here's why I'm writing this post. He hasn't gotten better. He keeps asking me to help him when he gets quote-unquote stuck. Once it was at his workplace, other times at his apartment. Last time I was there, I noticed he took off all the doors except for the front door to his unit. It's gotten to be utterly debilitating to his life, and the last time I saw him, he kept ranting to me about her, about how it didn't save her, and I didn't understand what he meant. Obviously, no one saved her. She was dead when he found her. No, he burst at me. You don't understand. Everything she suffered through, and it didn't save her. I can tell he's falling into depression. I'm worried he's going to quit his job and just stop leaving his apartment and never come out. How do I help my friend? Update. I never actually posted what I wrote above because I felt like maybe I shouldn't bear Tim's troubles to the world, like it's not my story. But I'm sharing it now because, well, he's called me this afternoon furious. He followed my advice, and the psychiatrist told him to put the doors back on, and if he saw the fingers again, to close his eyes and open the door. That it's a compulsion he needs to gain power over. So he followed the instructions, put all the doors back up in his place, and now he told me he's effed. He got stuck in his closet. Look, I'll head over, and then we'll open the door together, all right? I'll hold your hand while you push. I might have said this a bit sarcastically, but then while I was heading over, I remembered his last rant to me about her. About how everything she suffered didn't save her. Of course at the time I thought, duh, you found her rotting. Obviously she didn't survive. But while I was busing to his place is when it finally struck me what he really meant. See, the fact he found her body in the corner meant she never opened the door. She chose to die rather than going near that door. But it still got her. And maybe that means there's no way for Tim to escape either. As this revelation hits, a sudden icy panic grips me, because I'm the one who told him to go to the doctor, and it was all in his head, and to just buck up and open the door. And my heart hammers 1,000 beats a minute like a hummingbird. As I try to video call him, it rings and rings. And finally, the agonizing bus ride ends, and I'm leaping off the bus and rushing to his building, taking the steps 2 at a time. I let myself into his place out of breath, flinging open the closet door. Nothing but clothes on hangers, shoeboxes, plastic storage bins, and blankets. I stomp my foot hard on the wooden planks of the hardwood floor to alert him of my arrival. Nothing. I retreat back out into the bedroom, bathroom, living room. I stomp again so hard and loud that the downstairs neighbors are sure to complain. No response. I call his phone, call and call. Finally, I see its light flashing from the closet floor behind the door. And as I lean down to pick it up, when I straighten, I notice that the door, it's swung closed behind me, and now is just barely ajar. And there, wrapped around the edge of the closet door, are Tim's fingers. At first, I think it's a prank. Ha ha, I sigh sarcastically, even though he can't see me. And I reach for the door, but I stop. I'm not sure why I stop. Some instinct. I wait for him to open it, and it's been over an hour now. I'm still waiting. I think I'm going to need some help getting out, but then, once I do, what do I do next? How do I make sure that oh God, Tim his hand is still curled around the door, and his index finger just uncurled and curled again, beckoning me closer. Please help me. What should I do?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Chill.
Imagine me reading this in my bed last night, and I was like, while I was watching a scary movie. Because, like, you gotta watch scary movies on Halloween. Mm-hmm. It's what happens, okay? Whoa. But I was watching it and reading this, and I was like, oh my God. So tell me your thoughts.
I don't know. Oh my God. At first, for like a good long time in like the first half there, I was like, okay, where is this going? You're saying a lot of things right now. But wow.
Do you want to know what line it got me at?
Mm-hmm.
And there, wrapped around the edges of the closet door, are Tim's fingers.
Yeah.
I was like, no. I was like, no, she took over Tim because he opened the door. And now if you open the door, they're going to take you too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And then whoever ends up finding your body, then they're going to be plagued by you.
Exactly.
And then it's going to be a vicious cycle.
Yeah, it keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I just scrolled down to the comments, and the top comment says, bite his finger. And then the one right under it says, no, suck it.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Just because of who you are, I have a feeling you probably didn't.
Yeah.
Did you subscribe or, like, follow the Twitter page a couple years ago called, like, The Sun Is Gone or something like that?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. I don't use Twitter.
A couple of years ago, I want to say, like, maybe pushing, like, 6 to 10 years ago.
Okay.
There was this Twitter page that basically ran sort of like No Sleep, where, like, you can tell it's fake, but if you don't think about the fact that it's fake, it's really terrifying and, like, it seems pretty real.
Yeah.
And basically it was this guy, like, doing day by day, like, updates about the sun disappearing.
Okay.
And how he's hearing weird noises. Like, today is day 76 without the sun. Today I started realizing that there's no food around. Okay. I'm going from house to house. I can only move around at nighttime. I have to keep my clock on me so that I know what time it is. Like, stuff like that. Yeah. And it's very much, like, following it, like, okay, this is, like, a real person who's making these updates who the sun disappeared on them. Like, it was very much like an immersive kind of event. Yeah. And I remember being, like, 13, 14 years old, and I was like, what Because, like, I didn't start getting into it until it had already been going on for a while.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, going into a year of darkness.
Oh,
like,
okay.
it was cool. It was really cool. And this reminded me a little bit of that. But these people are awesome.
Yeah.
That write these,
Yeah.
honestly. I couldn't imagine writing this stuff.
What are you doing on Reddit? Get a book deal.
Right? And you know what's funny? The last one, the first story, the girl had a little, like, link that went to her stuff, and she had some other stories, and she actually had some books.
Good for her.
Like, I think she said that she had one book, and then she had a, like, collection of short stories.
Okay.
And I was like, that's so cool.
That is really cool.
Like, imagine starting your career on Reddit.
On Reddit?
But wait, what if we kind of are? I mean, we don't know what the future holds.
Right?
All of our stories are off of Reddit.
Yeah.
I haven't specifically used a single story that wasn't on Reddit.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So, you never know. But I hope you guys enjoy our song. All right, now this next one. I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to get your, like, feedback on it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to read some of the comments, because when I went into the comments on this one, it cleared up some stuff that, like, I hadn't thought about.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it'll do the same for you.
Okay.
And whoever's listening. So this one is called, "The Next Bus Is Not Real. Do Not Board." What time is it? I don't know. I did know. It was 11:55 p.m. I lose motivation to talk properly when I'm tired, although it was definitely an overreaction. At most, it would have taken an extra second to tell him what time it was. But I really wasn't thinking. I just wanted to get home, ignoring all social interactions. I didn't even look up to see the man's face. He left without saying anything, limping as he walked, leaving me alone at the bus stop, waiting for my final departure of the night. A single minute past midnight was the usual time on the schedule, although it was always late, despite only ever having a few passengers at most. My late shift at work had me used to these empty hours of the night. This specific part of town lacked in nightlife entertainment, leaving little reason to be out after dark. The shops were long closed, waiting for the bustling environment of the next morning. Until then, they remained silent. Some had their lights on all night long, spilling echoes of life into the otherwise inactive street. If the rapture occurred to me at this bus stop, it would take a long while for that news to reach me, as I simply continued waiting for an ever-late, never-arriving bus. These are the kind of thoughts that I have as I wait in the dark for the bus. The occasional breaks in these thoughts are often captured by me checking the digital sign above me, displaying an estimated time for all upcoming departures. Expecting to see 5 minutes, or perhaps a more delayed 10 minutes, I hadn't planned on having to read a whole sentence. So as I finished checking the sign, only then did my mind realize that it had not seen a number. I had checked the sign, but did not comprehend the content. My double take showed me what I had missed. The next bus is not real. Do not board. I stared at it for a moment before looking around. What I expected to see, I do not know. Perhaps some pranksters giggling at their work, or more sinisterly, a shadowy figure looming over to guide this paranormal event. I saw nothing. The same street I had become familiar with had nothing new. It remained empty with me as its only sign of life. So I waited. It was 11:59 p.m. by this point. So only 2 more minutes remained. On time for what may have been the first time the bus arrived, a single minute past midnight, and here it was, pulling around the corner, approaching the stop. I put my hand out to signal my need to board, feeling relieved that my only way home hadn't been canceled. As the bus approached, I noticed the dark interior. The headlights were on, but the lights inside were all off. I could not make out whether any passengers were on board, or even who the driver was. Being a regular, I know most of the final route drivers, but this time it was anybody's guess. I got onto the bus, putting down the same change I always do. "Bit dark, isn't it?" Nobody replied. As the doors closed behind me, the bus continued its way forward. I smiled awkwardly, despite knowing that the driver could not see me, and found a seat. I never found out whether there were any more passengers, but I can only hope that nobody else had to go through these next events. Almost immediately, I noticed steps being omitted from the route. A turn missed here, a completely wrong turn there. A panic set in, and I had somehow gotten onto the wrong bus, despite knowing for a fact that the bus I always get is the only local one that runs this late. Convincing myself that an unfortunate series of road closures had occurred, I remained calm and waited it out. After 10 minutes of this, we had circled back to the stop I had boarded at. In front of us, I noticed a normal bus. The bus I was supposed to board. The lights were on with a few passengers. It was waiting at the stop. I spoke slightly louder than the rumble of the engine. "Excuse me, can I get off? I'm on the wrong bus." No answer. So we slowly passed the correct bus. I can see the passengers inside all staring ahead. My gaze followed theirs, meeting an ambulance parked just slightly in front. A small group of paramedics knelt down in the beam of the bus's headlights, surrounding a body on the floor. I couldn't make out the body's face, as it was just out of sight, although one leg looked twisted. The passengers looked distraught, while the bus driver stood talking to the paramedics. I stood up. "I need to leave at this next stop." As I spoke, I pressed the bell, and the only sign of the internal lights lit up at the front of the bus, stopping. The sign then immediately turned off. Subsequent bell presses neither made the sound nor lit up the sign. The bus sped up suddenly, the force pushing me back into my seat. As I tried to stand up again, the wheels screeched. As we turned a sharp corner, without seeming to slow down at all, again the force pushed me back down. The speed continued to rise. The wheels of the bus went faster and faster until the outside world became simply a blur. I had never seen a car go this fast, let alone a road vehicle as large as this. I thought for sure that I was going to die right there. "What are you doing?" I found myself yelling out amid the panic. The driver, for the first and last time, spoke. "I don't know." My mind raced almost as fast as my body was being thrown about. The world beyond the windows soon morphed into a void of black, although the effects of our speed were still evident on my body as the velocity pushed me in all directions. It felt as though we had somehow gotten even faster, although this may have been the darkness forbidding my eyes of any reference to our true speed. We came to a sudden stop as I fell forward. The fall was violent, but still not as bad as you'd expect for a change of speed of that magnitude. My nose hit the floor, causing a great deal of pain. I stood up, holding my face, trying to regain my balance. As the dizziness subsided, I began to notice where I was. We were outside of my home. The bus stop I get off at is a 5-minute walk from here, yet here we were, directly outside my house. The doors gently opened. Despite the desire to leave as fast as possible, I found myself walking to the front of the bus. I reached the door, and I stopped. Turning around slowly to face the still shrouded in darkness bus driver, I spoke what I always do. "Thank you." I stepped onto the pavement outside as the doors closed behind me, followed by the bus driving forward into the darkness. I looked down at my watch, a minute past midnight.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
What are you getting from the story? What happened?
What I got was, at least what my mind went to, when the bus got back to the bus stop and the bus she was supposed to be on, all those people were looking. I thought, oh, the body that they're all looking at is hers. And then this is her way of, going into the afterlife. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Okay.
That's what I initially thought.
Oh.
Until I read the comments and people made me think, which is exactly what I was hoping would happen, and you wouldn't figure it out.
Okay.
First of all, this comment is hilarious. Really nice of the cosmic horror to bring you home. Listen to this.
Okay.
Wait, at first I thought that he had died, but it seems that he was just transported there by something supernatural. Boy, I have a handful of theories and a million questions. Somebody commented under that and said, "I'm wondering if the man that asked what time it was at the beginning was dead. Maybe OP accidentally took the man's place on the bus."
Oh.
Because he accidentally caused the dead man to walk away instead of waiting for the bus. The bus driver realized his mistake and took the original poster home. That's why the bus driver didn't know what he was doing. Also, the body in front of the bus had a leg that appeared to be twisted, and the OP said that the man limped away when asking for the time. this could be correlated.
Oh.
So now that I read
Okay.
that, I'm thinking, okay, the man at the beginning that asked what time it was is the manifestation of like the spirit of the man that's going to die. And he's asking what time so that he could get on the 12:01 bus.
Right. Okay.
And that's the like not real bus. He's supposed to get on it. That's his bringing to the afterlife, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And they gave the guy, girl, whoever that's like part of the story, gave them the warning of like, that's not the real bus. Don't get on it because it's not meant for them.
Yeah.
And that's why all of this happened.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting from it. Is like, hey, don't get on that bus, by the way. It's not meant for you. And they got on it anyways. And because, like they said, they turned the guy away at the beginning, he didn't know that he had to get on the bus.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm back in high school English class, like dissecting.
Ray Bradbury, who? Ray Bradbury would be so proud of this.
He would.
Genuinely. Because I'm still trying to figure out that sidewalk story.
I still don't
understand it. I'd like to read it again now, 4 years later, and be like, oh, this still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Oh my god. I remember being in that class, and they had us do a whole quiz on it. It was Miss they had us do like a pop quiz on it or something. And I remember sitting there being so lost and ready to cry because I was genuinely like, I did not get any of that out of the story. At all. You got me dissecting a story I literally thought was just about walking home.
I hope you guys enjoy our song. So how was your week, Stacey, so far?
This week has been exhausting. I'm really missing that fall break. I just want everything to pause. Please. That'd be nice.
Missing that fall break 2 weeks ago was a lot.
It is a lot. And I'm like, our next break is not until Thanksgiving, which is like, what, 3-4 weeks away? And it's like not even a full week.
20 days away. 3 weeks.
I'm tired.
Yeah. Good news. Me and Stacey are going to Italy together.
To Italy.
I think all the people that would be listening to this probably know. If you're new, you won't know. But me and Stacey have been trying to get into a study abroad program for this next summer. It's a class that we're taking next semester that we then take a 6-week class in Italy for. And I was having some problems where I might not have been able to go, but that got all fixed, and we're going to Italy this summer for 6 weeks.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited. I've been learning Italian on Duolingo. Shout out Duolingo. Hire me and hire Stacey.
Please hire me. Please.
But yeah, we're so excited. I'm so excited.
I know. I can't wait.
Oh my god, we're going to be in Italy. It's a creative writing class, which I've done creative writing before. I love writing. I love reading. So I'll take.
Yes. It'll be great.
I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for my time to be alive. Other than that, nothing's really happened this week.
No.
Just doing classes, doing work. It's been a pretty normal week, honestly.
Yeah. It's just been one thing after another, and it doesn't end.
Yeah, very little time to just, like, stop. But at the same time, like, it is what it is. Yeah. Like, I know I gotta do it, so we just gotta do it. I just don't want to. Yeah. But, yeah, other than that, nothing's really happened.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode. Again, all of the stories that I found today were on the r/nosleep subreddit. And again, they are not real. So don't take any of them too seriously. But my name is Becca.
And my name is Stacey.
And this is Topic Toss. Bye.
Bye.